Well, I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Director of Football Jordan Clark for an end-of-term update here at the Academy. Jordan, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dan.
I guess before we look at the specifics with the Academy and things we want to obviously acknowledge and mention, a lot going on around the football club at the moment in regards to Meadowbank and the possible purchase of there. As the Director of Football, just get your take on that and your thoughts on what's happening there at the moment.
Well, obviously, it's been, I don't know, about a month now since it was came out as sort of public knowledge and stuff. And just echoing, obviously, everything that Mark and I know there's been a lot of conversations going on with a load of community partners and heavy stakeholders within the community. The Academy is one of the main strands of the club, and we're probably one of the real hubs of the community now. So, to put it in a nutshell, Dan, is I think it's just organic for the club, really. I don't think it's at the detriment to anyone in the town, anyone in Mole Valley. I think it will only aid it. We've got, which we'll come on to tonight, we've got so many partners now that make up the Academy alone in terms of local schools, in terms of, the different sort of charity and community aspects that we have going on, from lunchtime clubs, running football teams for Ashcombe, doing loads of different things with the Priory, two of the main local schools. There's just so much more that we can do as a club for the community, and that's all this is about. The ground is used, but it could be used in different ways, and to the better effect for the community. And that's all as a club that we want to be able to do. You look at the size of the clubs, like the club visited Chesterfield on Saturday, and going to visit Notts County in the coming weeks. And these clubs, they're the hub of the community, which is why they are such a huge asset to the town or city that they're in. So we're only trying to better impact the town and everyone around us, so that hopefully, one, it helps us get more people through the door, drives up attendances, but also people have a lasting impression of Dorking Wanderers, one that's highly sought after, because they can't lie. What we do with our hands tied a little bit without a ground, is absolutely exceptional. So to be able to fast track that, to be doing it with a ground, working with great partners like Surrey FA, working with the local partners that we've got to streamline a more successful project, I can only see it as a massive benefit, Dan, and it's one that I'm really excited to be a part of. Obviously, it's all still got to go ahead, but it's a very exciting time for the club, and hopefully we can really push forward with it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, look forward to seeing how things progress in the coming days and weeks there. In terms of the Academy, so back in the summer, we announced the amalgamation of the youth and elite sections. How has that progressed so far as we reach this kind of almost midpoint of the year?
Yeah, well, it was like any new venture. There were so many great people involved. It was always going to be a success, but there was always going to be teething problems as well. And there's been loads of little bits we're working out for the first time. How the sort of player progression works, how we facilitate player growth and coach growth, and we've done that in a lot of ways. Other ways we've looked at and gone, yeah, we'll definitely do that better. So yeah, it's been a really successful first sort of 6 months, Dan. Really, like the players are now walking around in Dorking Wanderers training kit. Again, through our commercial partners About Roofing, who have sponsored the Academy for the last 3 years, they're now sponsors of the training kit for the whole of the Academy, which is from the under 3s all the way up to the under 16s, under 18s, and the 19s. So, these partners have really backed us, and in support of that, we were able to give the players in the local town, the same training kit as what they see the first team players in, which is brilliant. We've got loads of different things that we've added in this year, like the S&C, the goalkeeping sessions, the more specific stuff, and that's had a huge effect. And the coaches, managers, parents, players have really bought into that. And you do the weekly roundup for me so brilliantly, and you'll see obviously all the great feedback that we're getting. So yeah, it's been a huge success. Loads of learnings. We'll be better again the next half of the year, and then we continue this fantastic partnership, and then yeah, we'll just keep working on. Like with Richard King's stuff, the elite section, We've got some really exciting players coming into the pathway for next year in terms of into the academy, into the B team. So yeah, the squads are looking really strong, and yeah, we're just getting a really good pool of players, and the coaching ability is going up. We're starting to put people through their badges. We've got some of the academy players in here who are helping out now. So it was that real unification of all of what we had coming together. Because there's been people who have been part of the club for 5-6 years, even while I've been here, who we never really crossed paths. But now, because of that amalgamation and working together, we're able to really work on things as a unit and use each other's skill sets, and we've been able to really drive up a little bit more success than probably what we would have if we weren't working together. So huge success, Dan, huge success.
Brilliant. And we're near the midpoint of the academic year, as we mentioned. We're recording this a couple of days off the Christmas break. We've recently had parents' evening, and students have been issued with their IDPs. How's the academic year gone so far for the academy?
Well, it's again, we don't stand still here. Never in my 7 years, we've never had a sort of reoccurring year. It's always been like, all right, so that's that done, and then there's something else that we've grown with. And this year was probably the biggest amount of growth that we've had. We went from being sole education providers with VO UK for one strand of our education, 2 cohorts of BTEC learners in terms of year 1s and year 2s, to this year having A-levels for the first time at 2 separate locations, Ashcombe and Dunnottar, plus the amalgamation with the youth section and the elite section, and working closely with them and making sure that staff had the right sort of time to be able to do that. So it's been a massive success, Dan, and I've been so pleased with how we've managed the year. I sat down with Mr. Blackburn, the head of sixth form, 10 days ago and went through the reports of all the A-level learners. They're really thriving in the environment. And this is what this should be. It should be the carrot. The football should be the carrot for them to do well in their education. Yes, we want to make them better footballers, and we want the boys and the girls to go on to do great things in football. But the idea of the programme is it to supplement and complement their education pathway. So we feel that we're really achieving that, and working really closely with Mr. Blackburn, Mr. Everett at Dunnottar, and then everyone at VO UK. We've really got a strong environment where there's, we cater for all educationally. And on the football side of things, we've got, 4 teams that are all picked at the right sort of levels for the players. And yeah, it's just been a really good year of growth. I'm looking forward to next year. Again, no standing still. We'll have 2-year groups next year of A-levels, 2-year groups at Dunnottar, and also looking at another site as well. So yeah, which is great, because we want to keep, like we were saying at the start, keep impacting the community, keep opening doors for people, keep giving people opportunities to grow both on and off the pitch. So yeah, it's been a real success, Dan, and the grades are great. The BTEC learners have completed 3 units up to this point. And some of the grades are on track for our best that we've ever had. We've had sort of 80% of our learners over the last sort of 7 years achieve above their target grade. We're on track for that, if not better. So, I can't complain. And after the last few years of education, how difficult it's been a breath of fresh air to have a real normal year and a real sort of normal growth, which is great.
No, fantastic. And as you say, particularly in light of the way things have gone in the last couple of years, of course, for everyone. And you mentioned there the respective head of sixth forms for Ashcombe and Dunnottar, who we've partnered up with this year. You touched on it there, but been brilliant that we've had that partnership in place this year with those colleges. Oh,
brilliant! Yeah, so it's opened up so many doors for us. So again, Dunnottar have used the facility at Meadowbank for their lower school games. Again, that's something that we've organised with them, and Surrey FA have worked with us in supplying the pitch for them. So, that's with the situation at the moment, and we just only want to improve that. We've got after school clubs with the Ashcombe that we've been running, so we run all their girls and boys football teams after school. Sam Cave, who heads up our extracurricular programme, is doing a phenomenal job with our coach development group in supplying football for these age groups, and all wearing the Dorking Wanderers kit, giving back to the community, which is only going to help the club grow and then hopefully some future Wanderers players as well. So But outside of that, we're just passing on knowledge and experience to these young kids in a more specialist way and supporting the local schools. So, at Donato, we've been able to use their gym, absolutely phenomenal. Every week we're having strength and conditioning sessions in the gym for a set amount of learners, which is brilliant. Again, another strand to us, complements their BTEC work that they do internally, complements their football. So again, it's just so many opportunities for the lads and lasses here, and Donato and Ashcombe couldn't have been any bigger support. And we, it's I know it's reciprocated that we've added value to them, and they've added value to us hugely. And I can't thank everyone involved, Chris Panton from the principal, and everyone involved, Mark at Donato, everyone involved has been exceptional, and it's long may it continue.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the extracurricular side of things, and Sam Cave does a top job with that. We've had some other opportunities and strands to our education programme come up as well this year, which has been great. Great to see as well.
Yeah, it was about making well-rounded individuals, because as much as we want players to progress football-wise, and I can guarantee that every player who comes here will get better. But more importantly, it's about the 2 years. Everyone thinks it's quite long, but it's not. Once they start in August pre-season, education starts in September. By the time we get to this stage, we're really heavily thinking about these first years and what their exit route's going to be. So it's really important we hit the ground running with different aspects that we can make well-rounded individuals. So, people would have seen on Twitter that we've had numerous amounts of workshops this year, more than what we've had previously, obviously due to COVID and the restrictions we had. But now we're getting like financial, so HJP, one of our sponsors, coming in and speaking about financial management and enlightening the learners on how they can do different types of savings accounts and, how they got into the industry that they're in. And we've had loads of different people from different sectors come in and give talks. And that's what it's about, making sure that there's a well-rounded approach to our programme so that, yes, we can develop footballers. Yes, we want the best results possible. But when they get to the end of their 2 years, their exit route is the right one for them. And they can go on to have a long, successful, enjoyable career in whatever their field is. And they can say, if they can say that we helped them do that in a small way, then Dorking Wanderers have done their job. And that's all I want, is learners walking away from here at the end of the 2 years, missing it, which all of them do, but equally as well, saying, I learnt a lot there and it helped shape me as a person for what I'm doing now. That's the key.
Very much so. And on the footballing side of things, we've got our 4 teams under the umbrella here at the Academy. We've got our Wanderers B team, who play at Step 6 in the Southern Combination Division 1. We've got our 2 academy sides who play in the National League. And of course, we've got our certification come through, our licence come through very recently, confirming that, which is brilliant. But we've got our 2 sides who play in the National League Academy divisions. And we've got our tactics team as well, who compete regionally with other academies. So we've got our 4 teams. And in terms, from your perspective, Jordan, how's it gone for the 4 teams this season?
Well, it's been again with the growth. We went from having 2 teams, an alliance side, and the reserves, as what it was when I was running it, to now having the newly branded B team, then having now the Academy A team, which is we were able to play at that level due to achieving the licence that you mentioned, and then still having the alliance team, and then still having. And then adding in a tactics team. So obviously with the huge influx of players this year, where we had 36 go onto the BTEC programme, 17, 18 onto the A-levels at Ashcombe, and then a handful go to Donato. That was a huge influx of players coupled with what we already had. So we wanted to make sure that we could provide the right level of development for every player. And I think we got it right. It's taken us time. Up to this point, there has been some squad movement, which is great because we've worked out where people fit. It's been hard to manage the load on the players when they've been doing so well, a lot of them, in terms of wanting them to play in more games, but making sure that they're playing at the right development for them and not from a selfish managerial point of view where you want to play these players, but giving other opportunities to other players. And I think we've hit the sweet spot a little bit in terms of getting that right. I would like to say that obviously we would like better results, but the results at this level was, we've been working really closely with Beardo, who's got a great track record at under 18 level, and he's been so impressed with the application, desire, and dedication of the players here. And that will come, that will come. Our season started mid-September. We're now mid-December. So we are only 3 months in. And the Alliance team are doing really well. They're mid-table in their league. The Tactics team mid-table in their league. So they're being really competitive. It's just, the B team's doing extremely well, sitting at the top. It's just probably we need a little bit more depth to our quality, which will come once people either develop a little bit more, and also when we get the influx of another group next year for that Academies League, because I don't think that can be underestimated, Dan. It's probably, it's got to be the best under-18, under-19 league around outside of the professional game, without doubt, because, you've got players in there who are professionals, they're first year pros at a lot of these National League clubs, and we've taken a little while to learn, but we've been so competitive with a first year group. So I've been really pleased, because the ethos of the club in terms of wanting to win is there, and the desire to do so. But it's just that, it's just where we are at the minute. It's just where we are, and we're doing some really good things. We got a win the other day in the cup. Been really getting more and more competitive in every game, and as you know, coming to the games every week, it's literally like, you can split it on a couple of margins. But then margins, as the first team know, as we know at this level, it's very ruthless, and it can be, a hairline fracture in what you're doing, and that's the end of it. That's the game done. So, yeah, massively enjoyed it. Love every minute of it. The boys are loving every minute of it, and we're going to be, I've really enjoyed all 4 teams' progress this year, and I've been able to watch the others as well. So it's been good. I'm looking forward to the next part of the season. Be good.
Yeah, very much so. And you touched on it there. There is that real parallel comparison with the first team. They're getting used to life in the National League Premier, and by extension, we're getting used to life in the academy. But it's been enjoyable so far. We'll all be better for this experience in this first half of the season as we look at the second half of the season at the Academy National Leagues level. So, no, it's brilliant. We've got 3 of our academy players who've gone on to get first team contracts. 3 of them are out on loan at the moment. We'll go through the players and just get your feedback and your take on how they're getting on. Cameron Black, he's out on loan at the moment with Bognor Regis Town. How's the season gone for Cam so far?
Cam's had a really interesting first half of the season. He went to Hampton at the start, and then went to Hayes and Yeading, was doing really well as well, and then he ended up at Bognor, and he's been phenomenal, mate. Like, I've been to watch him 3 or 4 times, and he's been a colossus at both Hayes when I watched him, and also at Bognor. He's been an absolute colossus. He'll be gutted that he got sent off at the weekend, but he's doing really, really well. He's one that definitely is kicked on massively through this sort of last 18 months, through the first team experience that he's gained. So since that loan deal to Leatherhead, where he had the really good time under Luke Tufts, and done that amazing, where they probably should have stayed up for their efforts. Very unfortunate there. And he was a massive part of that, Cam. I think from that was a real sort of foundation for his sort of next stage of his development. And now he's kicked on with Hayes and Yeading and Bognor, and he's becoming a real sort of fan's favourite. And I've got a mate who's at Cray Wanderers, and he messaged me literally last week after Bognor played them, and said, "Is he available?" because of how well he was, how well he did. So, yeah, it's testimony to Cam. He's working so hard, and I look forward to seeing how he finishes the season and what next season holds for him here.
Yeah, it's been great seeing Cam carry on that consistency of form. As you mentioned, he had that spell at Leatherhead last year, won the Player of the Year award there. Leatherhead very unlucky not to stay up, as you rightly said. So it's been great that he's had that continuity this season with his form. We've also got midfielder James Dixon out on loan. He's been at Haywards Heath throughout the season so far, hasn't he? From the start of the season through to now.
Yeah, so Dixie's a real sort of stalwart for them at the minute. He's playing every week. He's scored a few good goals. There was a cracker I see him score against Corinthians, an absolute cracker. And they've been coming in with the loan group on a Monday with Beardo. I've been doing a bit with them as well, and they're just looking like, and it's no disrespect to what they were, but they're looking like men now. They're looking like they're really sort of taking the games by the scruff of the neck in terms of Dixie, in the midfield. He's playing in there with some really good players, some experienced players who he's learning off. He's playing in a good side, well supported. So yeah, I think he's doing really well. I'd like to see him probably add a few more goals to what he's doing. But obviously they've just lost their manager. Martin's just resigned, so it'll be interesting to see how the next couple of weeks look for Dixie. But yeah, he's been doing really, really well, and again, he's just growing with every minute he's getting. It can't be underestimated for these young lads what they're doing, considering the club that we are. So we were playing step 4, step 3, 3 years ago, and these players were in our under 18s then. They were first years, maybe under 16s. So their growth has been, absolutely brilliant. The fact that they've come through those ranks and are now regulars at that level. And I think by the end of the season, they would have really pulled up some trees. Dixie and Cameron, and obviously we'll come on to Ollie. So no, I'm really excited about the next half for Dixie.
Yeah, and again, he's been so consistent there, James. And again, he had a really good spell at South Park last year. We voted Fans Player of the Year there. So it's been brilliant that he's had that continuity. As you say, he's been ever present in the side, Haywards Heath, this year. Then our final player that's obviously in the first team, but come through the academy with us out on loan, Ollie Allen, fellow midfielder. He's at Leatherhead, having started the season at Bognor Regis, Burgess Hill Town, I should say. Burgess Hill Town, he started out, now he's at Leatherhead down the road, yeah.
So Ollie was had an injury, a bad knee injury, that sort of delayed his start. So he never really got going at Burgess, and they obviously, what the start of the season's like, they're working things out, FA Cup. It was quite difficult for him at the start. But then when Hayden went in at Leatherhead, who had Ollie at Kingstonian last year,
yeah. So
it was a good fit for Ollie, who, and obviously being local to us as well, and wanting to help them. So yeah, he's gone in there and played every week. Again, we see him every Monday, and we get feedback from them. And he's been playing really well. And he's a regular in the side. He's the youngest out of all of these, so that's not to forget. He is a third year, so he could still play in our academies team at under 19 level. So he's actually 2 years younger than Dixie, a year younger than Cam. So he's developing at a really good rate. So it's just important for Ollie that we made sure he was playing games, and he's doing that at Leatherhead. So playing a lot of games in an expectant side to do well, which will only do his development, to have that level of expectation. And Hayden, who's a really, really good manager, really experienced manager, and he will get it right down there. So yeah, Ollie's doing really well. And again, like with all of them, I'm just really keen to see how the next half of the season goes, because it could be quite defining for them in terms of what it looks like for them next year. Whether that's a step up a level or, a chance with us here, that would be quite defining.
Yeah, of course, and they're in good company with other Wanderers. These lads at their loan clubs. Obviously, Slav Huck's just gone to Leatherhead as the goalkeeper there. Joe Rabet is on loan at Bognor Regis with Cam. So yeah, they've got fellow Wanderers around them as well, which is good. Looking back on this, as I say, we're near the midway point of the term, aren't we, in the season? Highlights for you, Jordan, so far on the education and footballing front?
Highlights for me. Well, there's a few people I'd like to really pick out, and I'd like to pick out all the girls that joined us this year. They've been nothing short of exceptional under difficult circumstances. So obviously our aim was to obviously get as many girls as we can. We've always been open to girls and boys. But we've obviously had some difficulty in terms of recruitment and making sure that we got the right numbers for a team. And we fell a little bit short of that. But the girls have been nothing short of exceptional in terms of their application to training, the little matches that we have been having internally, in terms of, training with the boys at times. They've been absolutely brilliant. And it's one of those bits that I'm really looking forward to next year, having our first girls team. We've been heavily influx with applications for next year from the girls side of things. So, we're going to couple the 9 girls we've got this year with probably another 10, 11. So we'll have a nice round number, probably of 20 girls next year, where we'll be able to have a proper under-19 girls team, where they'll be able to play regular fixtures. And so for me, they've been a real highlight in terms of their application endeavour in difficult circumstances, and just their overall application to the programme. You've got Izzy, Hannah, Crystal, Zara, who all work in the community. They work with our youth teams, they work with Mole Valley girls, so their whole application to the programme has been nothing short of exceptional, and they are great academics as well, which is obviously, great for the results. So they're all doing extremely well in their BTEC and A levels. Coupled with that as well, like Cade Castleman. So he was one who, as a first year, we had high hopes for, but he had a difficult start to the season, and he has, of late, the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, he's really kicked on. So I'd like to say he's been a highlight for me in terms of what hard work can do. When he was faced with adversity, faced with challenges, mistakes, on a football side of things, he's shown great character and a real willingness to get better, and a lot of the other people can learn from him in terms of that. And then just as an overall, I can't thank them all enough for their professionalism. It's very easy for them to get into either good habits or bad habits, and what they have done really well is police themselves. Obviously, the club is very much of a high standard anyway, but what they've done really well is they policed themselves into really good habits. Attendance is brilliant. Attitude and application to learning and training is excellent. So overall, from number 1 to, I think it's as we've got, they've all been exceptional, and it's been a real highlight for me having so many good kids, good people, a part of Dorking Wanderers Academy, and I can't wait for the rest of the year with them, and I really want to thank them for the first half of the year, wish them all a Merry Christmas with their families if they're watching this, and then and make sure that they all know how proud I am of them, because every day is a pleasure to spend with them, and as much as sometimes they do some silly things, they are all a credit to their families and a credit to the club, and long may it continue.
Brilliant stuff. And just finally, Jordan, just looking ahead, we've had 3 of our talent ID days across September, October, November. We're back in the new year, January the 22nd. Always on a Sunday at Meadowbank between 5 and 8 p.m, our talent ID days. We've got, as I say, the next one on January the 22nd. We've had a really great response in this first half of the year, haven't we? And we look forward to welcoming more candidates in the 2023.
Yeah, well, places are filling up massively, which was always expected, especially with the, obviously, education pathways that we've got now. Sometimes, like when we first started, it's that leap of faith initially. And it was like that with the A levels, because obviously it's something new. There's no sort of proof in the pudding as such. But now we've got some real case studies of people excelling and doing really well. The influx and applications have been exceptional, and I think we've already got 40 places filled from and that's across all 3 education strands. So I think that leaves roughly around about another 30 left potentially. So it's it's a really good place to be. We've got some exciting players coming in. Where the club stature has helped us attract some other players as well. So from players that get released from local pro clubs. So that's good for us in terms of developing a competitive structure at this level, but also really good academics, which is exciting. So if you're interested and just want to learn a little bit about it, January the 22nd, 5 to 8, Meadowbank. See you next year. It'd be great to have you down, and that's I wouldn't waste any time, because our enrolment or application process always finishes around March time. We do that for a couple of reasons. First one being we want the learners to focus on their GCSEs, so we want to go right March. You're all under a conditional or under unconditional offer. Now go away and focus on your GCSEs. And equally as well, it gives us time to sort of focus on completing what we're doing here, and then we get to do some, once they finish their GCSEs around mid-June, between June and the end of July, we do some pre-academy games. So then we invite them all in once they finish their GCSEs, do some pre-academy games, and it gives us a chance for them to get to know the staff, get to know other players around the place. So then when it comes to pre-season in August, we're not starting from zero. We've already got a good foundation. So there is a method behind our madness, because the season doesn't just give us time to start. We come back in September, it starts a week later. So it's important that we make sure we give these boys and girls the best chance to hit the ground running. So yeah, March, so we've only got 3 left. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely don't waste any time, and I look forward to meeting anyone who comes down.
Excellent. And if anybody interested, please visit our official website, dwfa.co.uk, for more information. Jordan, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. And we'll catch up in 2023.
Yeah, see you next year.